It is day one of my aggressive calorie deficit. I woke up this morning not hungry at all, down to having a boozy and quite caloric weekend. Not in a F it kind of way, just in that I was genuinely hungry because I did a 10k intense run on Friday morning, and Friday evening I just couldn't stop eating. My hunger was very high. And also it is like the second day of my period, my first day of my period. Anyway, but I tend to find my hunger drops off in the beginning half of my cycle. And that's also another thing. When I do aggressive deficits, I often do them at the start of my cycle to take advantage of that reduction in hunger. Obviously, this mug was full when I started to drink it. And because I am reducing my cardiovascular exercise at the moment, I'm making sure that I'm getting out and getting my steps in to keep my step average up. Because one of the things that happens when you diet, the body is incredibly clever. It's always looking to try and find balance. And if you drop those calories, the body will be like, I'm just going to slow down some basic function. I'm going to make you feel a little bit lethargic. So when you are dieting, you have to be much more intentional about your energy output. That being said, if I'm just doing a deficit for 12 days, that metabolic change won't actually happen that quickly. And I've actually found in the past my energy levels to actually be pretty good. Gym session done, and I'm actually really not hungry at all. It's almost midday, and what I've got to do, I've got to go home. I've got a couple of my online check-ins to do, so I'm going to do those, and I'll try and push my first meal as late as possible where I can, because if I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat for just the sake of eating. Let's add a bit of context and nuance to that comment I just made about not eating for the sake of eating. When you're in a calorie deficit, obviously calories are king, so we want them to be low so that we can use our body fat stores. However, by skipping a meal, you potentially risk not hitting your protein and fiber needs, which we do want to keep doing for health and muscle retention. So if I kept finding myself not being that hungry, I would need to adapt. Instead of going for 3 meals, I'd try and adapt it to 2 slightly larger meals. But I know that's actually not going to happen. I'm probably not very hungry because of having a lot of calories over the weekend, and I'll probably find my hunger will pick up in a day or so. And here's the thing, one of the great things, or one of the really positive things about aggressive calorie deficits is they tend to be actually quite appetite suppressing. And it's probably due to the very low carbohydrate nature, which is one of the reasons individuals, when they do very low calorie, when they say I'm not hungry, they genuinely mean it. Because the low carbohydrate, which often keto diets are, well, they are, that is what a keto diet is, often the low carbohydrate tends to suppress hunger. Generally, when you go into an aggressive calorie deficit, you're hungry for a couple of days and then it tends to drop off. Spent a couple of hours in my office doing some check-ins and recording and editing videos, and it's 2:40 and I've just eaten for the first time today. That was my overnight oats with some fruit on top, and now I'm going to take the kids out to the rugby club, and I might take my chopped salad with me in case I get hungry. So I've got one kid in the pool, one kid playing Where's Wally, and I am sitting down editing videos and recording them, and I'm actually getting a bit of a headache, and this is quite a common side effect when you do aggressive calorie deficits. Very similar to individuals when they fast for Ramadan, they tend to get headaches in the first few days. And mine is probably down because I didn't have headaches. The last few times I've done these, I haven't had headaches, but that's because the first few days I used to have breakfast and then slowly wean it out. I just wasn't hungry when I woke up this morning, so I chose not to. So I basically haven't had any food in me till I ate at 2:00. So rather than it being about dehydration or electrolyte imbalance or caffeine withdrawals, because I don't drink that much caffeine, it is probably more like hypoglycemia, where there's just a drop in blood sugar, and that might be that. So that's what I think is happening there. Kids were happily playing at the rugby club, so I decided to take myself for a couple of lap stroll just to top up my steps. We had dinner around 6:30, which was chicken fajitas with lettuce boats rather than wraps, although I was so full I could only eat half of it. Once we had put the kids down, was feeling a bit peckish, so I had a bowl of Greek yogurt with protein powder, blueberries, and a chocolate wafer. Overall, a really great first day for my aggressive deficit. Calories were on point, protein and fiber a little bit on the low side, but that's sometimes what happens when you make last minute changes or if you have to adapt. So a little bit off target, but not a bad start. And yes, this is a photo of the moon from my phone. I took it yesterday. If you enjoyed any of this content today, do me a favor, like, comment, or subscribe, and see you for day 2.